beats are so fire.
What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today? Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Sorry about that. I was sending something out. My name is Suge, and we are here. Still conspiracy. It is Sunday night, late game, Sunday night, Steelers Jets. We're gonna be talking football. Gonna be talking maybe some baseball. Might even talk some WNBA. We had the finals end tonight between the Liberty and the Lynx. So we're going to get into that. Appreciate you being here. I know it's late. It is late, but I appreciate you being here. Jada6 said, Phil should have started. I don't know. After seeing what Russ did with Pickens, I don't know. It's tough to argue. It's tough to argue. Russ's moonballs dazzled everybody. Sure did. Sure did. Now I will give, the Jets were hurting in the backfield of their defense, but there's still a defense, and they, what West was doing with Pickens. We haven't seen this from Pickens in a long time. I don't really even think we've seen this from Pickens, to say justice. We've really ever seen this from Pickens. So we'll talk about it. But once again, I appreciate everybody that's here. If you're here or if you're watching on replay, I appreciate you. So let's get into it. Steelers win over the Jets 37-15. 37-15. Russell Wilson, 16 for 29, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris, 21 carries, 102 yards. Finally got that over the 102 yards rushing. Didn't look good at first, and then George Pickens, 5 receptions, 111 yards, 22.2 yards an average, 1 touchdown. Pratt Fireman, two receptions for 51 yards. Darnell Washington, 36 yards. Calvin Johnson, who had a quiet game, he missed some open shots in the beginning of the game from Russell, because Russell just looked real rusty, and you thought, oh no, why did we make this switch? But then in the end, it all worked out. Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 39, 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions by Bishop, Beanie Bishop Jr. 2 interceptions. One of them, which was a crazy interception, reaching back, catching it one-handed. The other bouncing off of Wilson and into his arms. Devontae Adams, first day as a Jet, 3 receptions, 30 yards, was looking good off the bat, and then disappeared in that second half. But Breece Hall, 103 yards, 6 receptions. Garrett Wilson, 5 receptions for 61, and Alan Lazard, 4 receptions, 58 yards. Look, I know a lot of people were against benching Fields. I know people were texting me in the middle of this game saying, "See, I told you Wilson's not good." I'm not gonna lie, he didn't look good in the beginning. Like, you're absolutely right. People that were messaging me, people that were texting me, he did not look good in the beginning of this game. He looked rusty. He looked out of sorts, and that first quarter was not good. A good showing for him, and I was like, "Damn, did we make a mistake? Did we make a mistake?" And then once that first ball was thrown, like Jay says, that Russ Moonball, I think then he found his rhythm. And play action. I will say this, and you can disagree with me if you want. That's fine. Um, the play action looked like it looked like it worked compared to when other QBs run it, such as Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, um, Justin Fields, the Mitch Trubisky. The play action looked believable, and once they got that going, I like what I saw. Russ was slinging it. Again, a couple short passes here or there, understandable. But when he threw it downfield, and they took a lot of shots downfield, that I was very surprised they did. Um, it was what I wanted to see out of this offense and what we need to see moving forward. What up, Bronny? I was gonna send you the link, but I know it is like 11 o'clock where you're at, and you got to be up for work. So I didn't want to bug you, but I appreciate you. Shout out to my co-host Bronny and my other co-host Hendo, who's probably also sleeping right now because he's got to get ready for a game tomorrow. Um, I'm sure Bronny didn't watch his team play today because what was the point of that game? But shout out to Bronny. I appreciate you for being here. Congrats on the win. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about Sunday Night Football or our Dodgers going to the World Series? That's why you should be on here so we can talk about that. We're about to have Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani in the Fall Classic. Shout out to the Dodgers, but we'll talk more about Dodgers in a little bit. So going back to this game, look at someone pointed out on Twitter, when's the last time you've seen the Steelers score 13 points in that first half? We haven't seen that in a while. They put up 37 points. We haven't seen that since Big Ben. Dodgers baby, where the fuck is Buck? He's probably in his bed crying right now. He's probably in his bed crying because he didn't want to see the Dodgers go to the World Series. Look at, and again, we're gonna talk some baseball. I know a lot of people don't care for baseball, but that first series against the Padres was probably one of the most emotional, hardest series for the Dodgers. And the fact that they got through it and won is, I think, says a lot. I don't think if they hadn't gone through that series, I don't know if they get past the Mets because the Mets are hot and the Mets had opportunities. But the Dodgers, the bats have been awoke. The bullpen's been amazing. Starters are starting pitching starting to pitch a lot better than what we thought. And so, y'all scored 12 the first half last week and ended with 32. I mean, but it's not 13 and it's not 37. But I get what you're saying. Ease up on my man Buck. Buck is probably not a happy camper right now. But the big thing here was the defense was able to do things and the offense was able to take advantage of it. That's what's been missing for the Steelers is the defense playing good, possibly great, but then Steelers not being able to capitalize and then teams being able to come back and win the games after our defense has been, giving us the ball back and playing the hearts out. And again, you can sit there and blame the Steelers defense for letting, like the Cowboys score, letting the Colts, Flacco throw the ball over the yard on them. But our offense hasn't done this when the ball has been given back to us. And we were able, it just felt different watching Russ throw the ball to Pickens. That touchdown pass, that was beautiful. The pass where he threw it and he caught it one-handed, even though it looked like he was being pass interference. And then the pass interference call that he got when he dropped it, the ball just looked different being thrown to him. So I understand where people were upset with Fields being benched. I understand people, felt like he got a raw handshake on this. But from what I saw from Russ tonight, and hopefully going forward, is what I want to see. Again, he didn't 264 yards. So that's not a lot of yards. 2 touchdowns, 16 for 29. But the passes to our wide receivers, the passes to our tight ends, looked just a little bit different, and it looked like a functional offense. And if this is what we're going to get moving forward, then with our defense playing the way it is, this is what I want to see. Aaron is a big time fraud. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, one of those interceptions is not his fault. I think both of his interceptions are not his fault. They were just great plays by um, Bishop, but I think I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back after this year. To be honest with you, I think he's going to be done. Even though they went and got Devontae Adams for him, I just don't see it. I mean, he's just getting beat up. He gets frustrated every time he throws the ball to Mike Williams. Like, Jets, send Mike Williams over to the Steelers. We'll take him, because Aaron looks like he's done with him. Like, he don't want nothing to do with him anymore. So send him our way. I'll definitely take him. But you know, first quarter, Russell didn't look good. He looked rusty. He looked all the sorts. But like I said, once they started getting it down, the play action pass looked amazing. Um, the downfield balls, the consistency, consistent. I'm sorry. The fact that they kept doing it down, throwing the ball down the field, is what I like to see, because we haven't done that since Big Ben. Like, we'll throw the ball downfield and then we'll run it three times, you know. And we got our yards through we got some yards through the air, but then we got our yards through the ground. Najee Harris, granted, Najee Harris got those late yards, and probably garbage, not really garbage time, but kind of garbage time. Um, but it's the first time he's been over 100 yards in a long time. I don't even remember the last time he went over 100 yards. You know, and for him to get that was great. To see him do that, and that's what I want to see. And George Pickens, again, I understand people. I understand he didn't have 100 yards last week, right? I think he only had like 80. I don't think Najee Harris had. I think he only had 80 yards last week. I don't think he had 100. Oh, he had 106. You're wrong. Yeah, he had 106, but it didn't feel like it. It felt different. Okay, so he had 106 last week. Okay, my apologies. My apologies. My apologies. But he actually ran from average more yards. He only averaged 4.9 versus the Jets, whereas against the Raiders it was 7.6. But the Raiders, yeah, fuck your feelings. Why are you coming here so aggressive? Um, so these last two games, Najee Harris has showed up, which is what we want to see. He had 100 yards each game. One and touchdowns. He's getting touchdowns. That's what we like to see. Um, but again, just the balls being thrown from Wilson just felt different to Pickens, and that's what I've been wanting to see. And again, Justin Fields, I think he's gonna get his chance. We'll see what happens. Um, and the old saying, "Oh, ride the hot hand," but I mean, it just, again, what I saw from Russell, I liked, and I want to see more of it. Because the facts don't care about your feelings. I know nobody cares about my feelings. Um, we have the Giants. We should beat them. We should go into our bye 6-2. Going into our bye 6-2 is amazing. And then we have that gauntlet, and this is where we're really going to need to step up. We're going to start getting guys back healthy. Highsmith came back healthy. We're going to start getting. I think our corner Jackson got. I don't know if he got hurt or what happened tonight, but he wasn't really playing. But it'll give him some rest time. So we need to go out there. We need to beat the Giants and beat them handily, and then go into our bye, because then that's when the gauntlet starts, and we got to start getting prepared for this run. Because being if we can finish this, if we can go into the bye 6-2, that's amazing. And we have nine games left. After that, we need to probably go 6-3. 6-3. I think we need to go 6-3 to win the division. I believe if 6-3 to probably make the playoffs. 7-2 to win the division. Is where we need to be at. So it's definitely going to be on our minds. So we need to go into this game with the Giants to finish off this half of the season, go into the bye week, uh, get healthy, and then get ready for this gauntlet. Shout out to Walker Still. Walker Still, appreciate you. Appreciate the follow. Hope you're having a wonderful night. We're talking Steelers right now. We're going to get into some Dodger talk, and then also possibly some WNBA. Um, so next week, like I said, we have the Giants. I believe that's which is crazy because that's a Monday night game, and that's in Pittsburgh. So we got some home cooking. So let's take care of this. After that, we're at Washington. Washington looked good. Daniels looked like he got hurt today. We'll see what happens with him. And then after that, we got the Ravens. So we got two big tests right out the bye. Commanders, Ravens. Then we got the Browns. We know the Browns. They're done for. Deshaun Watson, I think, tore his Achilles. I'm a little late. You're not. It's a little late. You're not late. It's a little late because the Steelers played Sunday night. You never know this late, but appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a wonderful night. We have the Commanders. That's a tough game. Daniels got hurt though. We'll see what happens with him. Then we got the Ravens, the Browns. The Browns. Bengals. They're not playing well, but they did get a win today. They're 3-4. They might start making a run, so we gotta end that. Then we got the Browns again, the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. So it's like, the Browns. That should be 2 wins for us. I think the Bengals maybe a split, but I think we should win those 2 games. The Ravens, Commanders, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Steelers are going to Philly, so that's gonna be a tough game. But the big ones are the Ravens, Chiefs. Those are 3 games right there that are gonna be tough. Commanders is gonna be a tough game, and the Eagles. So with the Eagles, Ravens twice, Chiefs, Commanders. That's 5 games. We got to go 3-2 at least. Right there. I think the Browns, we should take both of those. And then the Bengals, they always play us tough for division rivals, So I would like to sweep them, but it's probably going to be a split. So, so 1, 2, 3. If we can get, one of the Ravens games, the Eagles games, 4 or 5, and then going into that Chiefs games, they might be resting starters. So, I don't know. It's a Christmas game, but you never know. And then even, hopefully by January 5th, we're resting starters because we're in the playoffs or we won the division. So right out the gate, I think the after the Giants game, we get this win against the Giants. Those next 3 games are important because if we can go 4-0 after our bye or 3-0 after our bye, we got 10 wins. And I think after we get 10 wins, we're right there in the playoffs. And I think we're in a great spot. So we'll see what happens. They said he's fine. They didn't need him for Carolina. They let his little homie Marcus ride on them. Panthers bitches. Do not disrespect the Panthers. Don't do that. Marcus, I'm a huge Steelers fan from England who stays up for this game because it was not even a choice. Okay. To paraphrase, I lived there. Therefore I watched the Steelers and find people to talk about it with at gone 5 a.m. Gotcha. Well, appreciate you. Shout out to England. Appreciate you being up. We're here on Tuesdays where we talk Steelers, Panthers, and Ravens with my co-host Rodney. And that's on Tuesdays around 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern with Rodney, myself, and my other co-host Hendo. So come check us out if you like. Usually here on YouTube. And we also have a plethora of other people just like talking sports. There's a plethora of other people that we connect with who talk boxing, who talk MMA, who talk other football teams, who talk betting, who talk baseball. Shout out to Buck, even though his Diamondbacks suck, and the Dodgers are going to the World Series, so suck it, Buck. we have all kinds of people here. So if you want to check out their links, they're in the description. So appreciate you being here. Walker Steel. It's a great name. Great name. So yeah, I think we need to after this, if we can get this win against Giants, no win's guaranteed. I think if we get this Giants win, you know, those next four games after that, we need to go at least 3-1. 4-0 would be perfect and great, but no worse than 2-2. I don't, and the Commanders game is going to be huge, a huge measuring meter. Obviously, the Ravens are a huge measuring stick for us, but the Commanders, because they have been playing well, is going to be a huge measuring stick. But they have a young quarterback. So can we go on the road and beat a good young Commanders team is going to be a question. So 2-2, 3-1, 4-0 would be great. Anything below that is not good. The Panthers disrespect themselves. As Xavier Woods, how does it feel to be on a historical bad defense team? And this ninja started laughing. Try being a Pirate fan. I love the Pirates hats, because obviously Pittsburgh Steelers. But my brother's childhood friend played for the Pirates. So I've always been a fan of the Pirates. Jason Kendall. My brother grew up with him, went to high school with him, and then I was always around their baseball team when I was a kid. So I know Jason Kendall. He was on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I rooted for him like crazy. So I always have a soft spot for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Although actually. Yeah, Commanders seem good. Jaden Daniels okay. I hope. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. He'll get some rest. But that's going to be they're a young team, and I was watching them today. They're a very good team. Defense is very stout. So, kind of going into this whole Russell Wilson thing, like again, and Bronny, I know Bronny will say stuff to me on Tuesday. He's to be here in the chat. It just looked different. It felt different, and I liked what I saw from Russell. And so moving forward, if we get that, like I think the Steelers can be a legitimate team. I thought they were a good defense that can, with an offense that's, but tonight we saw Russell throwing like Jada Six said earlier, throwing those moon balls, and it dazzled people. And Pickens was getting those balls, and if he's able to do that, and then it opens up for these other receivers, I like it. That's because he's about to get a nice run with the New Day breakup. Don't hate. You don't care. Shout out. That's not the Xavier Woods we're talking about, but yes, Xavier Woods. Shout out to Xavier Woods. He's caused one of the best videos out there on the internet. Moonballs, baby. Yeah, those moonballs. I mean, they were good. The pass that got me was the pass that he threw to Pickens in the touch in the corner. It just was on point. Like it was just perfect. He just went up there and got it, came down with it, 2 feet in bounds, and it just looked good. And so I was a little skeptical. They kept running Russ, like they faked him for a touchdown, and then they did it again to get a first down. It's like, bro, didn't y'all say he had a messed up calf? Why are you sneaking him for? Russ is a gifter. He can't keep that up. I hope he does. I like her. A grifter. What is with these? I said gifter. I apologize. Grifter. What is up with these new terms? What's a grifter? I've heard those terms. What is a grifter? I don't know what that is. These damn new terms. Your new terminology. These young kids, even though Bronny's the same age as me, I like it too. I would have stuck with Fields, but he proved me wrong. Please, yeah. I mean, again, there was things that we saw when Russ, when the play broke down and there was lanes and Russ couldn't run. That Fields would have took that upfield and would have got a first down or got yardage. So yes, there's things that Justin can do that Russ can't, and we see it. But then there's also things that Russ can do that Justin can't, and one of those things is putting that ball in the air on point. Every ball that he threw, besides that first quarter, when he was throwing downfield, it was where it should be or where you expect it to be. Every throw was like, oh man, that's a good throw. And that's what I like to see. And I want to continue to see that. And if we continue to see that, I think that's where we're dangerous, you know, because again, it opened up the running game. Ball got spread around, and Sauce Gardner was on Pickens. That's one of the best corners out there. I don't know if he got hurt, but Pickens was catching balls on him. When we run into a team that doesn't have that kind of corner, Pickens is going to cook them. So you want to see the ball go downfield like that, and I think that was nice to see, and I think it hopefully continues. Like, we're lucky we got the Jets, even though Jets were a decent team, we beat them. We get the Giants, who's not a really good team, but they have some offensive weapons, and their defense does look good up front. So our line needs to protect Russ. We need to play smart, and we should beat this team. Then we go and we get rest, we get ready, because again, this next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games is going to be a tough stretch for us. And even though some teams are not looking that good, they're divisional games. So we know how divisional players play against us, divisional teams play against us. And then we got the Ravens, KC, and Philly, and the Commanders. Those are 4 tough games. 4 tough games. So we got to be ready. So I think the schedule is working out for us, but it's also working against us after this bye. So, and Tuesday we'll go over, what else we saw, some score predictions, things like that. Tomorrow, Monday night, we have 2 Monday night games. I don't know why they do that, but we got 2 Monday night games. Ravens, Tampa Bay, which should be a great game, and I do believe the other one is Cardinals Chargers. That's a snooze fest. Like, good God. Moonball merch, snake oil salesman comment. Oh, okay, a grifter. A grifter is someone who fakes it to make a buck. Gotcha. Okay, that is not Russ. Well, I'm a grifter then, because I fake it always to make money. If you know me. So yeah, we got the snooze fest of Chargers Cardinals. I don't know why that's even a Monday night game. Ravens Bucks is going to be a great game. Hopefully Baker Mayfield goes out there and Ravens defense doesn't look that good. They give up a lot of yards and points. So hopefully Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield can put some yards on them. See what happens. I usually talk about baseball when I say this, but let's go Bucks. Why the Strays? I don't know. Why not the Strays? You might catch some strays, Jay. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit of baseball real quick. Dodgers beat the Mets. Win the series 4-2. As people would say, it's all set up because we are getting the series that people talked about, which is the Dodgers and the Yankees. We are getting Dodgers and the Yankees for the World Series. And it starts Friday in LA. This is the first time they meet in 38 years, I believe they said, which is a long time. I was 2 years old when the last time they met. It's the first time the Dodgers clinched the pennant in front of their home stadium, which is awesome. I live in LA. They were already setting out, well, not in LA, but outside of LA. They're already setting off fireworks. I would not go to downtown LA right now or near anywhere because they're probably going to be doing some crazy stuff out here. So I'm going to stay my happy ass in the house. But the Dodgers did win 10-5. The unsung hero who got the MVP of the series was Tommy Edman. He had 5 at bats today, 2 runs, 2 hits, 4 RBIs, and a home run. This was a guy that we got at the trade deadline. I believe he was hurt from the Cardinals. They stuck him in the lineup, and this postseason he's played great. Mookie Betts had a hit. Shohei had 2 hits. Hernandez had 2 hits. Muncy had no hits, but he got some runs in. Always gets on base. Kike got a couple of hits. Andy Page 5 at bats, no hits. Will Smith hit a home run and got some hits. Chris Taylor got 2 hits. And this was a bullpen pitching. We didn't have a starter pitcher. We just threw our bullpen, and they it was a little scary at first. They, Mets scored the first run in the first, and then the Dodgers in the third scored 4. They were up 6-1, and Mets, scored 2. Started slow, making it look scary, but then in the eighth we scored 3, and in the ninth they scored 1, and it was just game over from them. Shout out to the Mets. They weren't even supposed to be in this position. A lot of teams, a lot of people thought this team was, they weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. Buck will tell you it was a 3-way tie between them, the Mets, and I believe it was Atlanta. And Atlanta and the Mets each won 1 game and put Arizona out of the playoffs. And Mets beat Milwaukee team, and then they beat the Phillies, who everyone thought was one of the favorites outside of the Padres and the Dodgers. And really, it went Philly, Padres, Dodgers. But Dodgers beat the Padres, and like I said again, in a very emotional, hard fought. I mean, that was an emotional series for a lot of reasons. The history. Manny Machado. The way that we lost the game, the way we were almost on a knocked out of the playoffs, to come back and then dominate and had 33 scoreless innings. The Dodgers went through a lot in that series, and I think it made them tougher for this series. And where they could have folded, usually they didn't. And now they're heading to the World Series. It's going to be interesting. Freddie Freeman's still hurt. Our pitching isn't the greatest. Our starter pitching, our bullpen's amazing, but the starter pitching, you have Walker Buehler, you have I forgot how to pronounce his name, but the Japanese pitcher that we picked up. You have the pitcher that pitched the other last game against Mets, Frederick. I think it's his name. But he didn't pitch well against the Mets this last game. So we're going to be very dependent on our bullpen and our offense to just try to outscore New York. So it's going to be very interesting to see. It starts in LA, and so we'll see. This is, and again, this is what the world wanted. LA versus New York. You had 2 options. You have the Subway Series or LA versus New York. So we got LA versus New York. It's going to be exciting to watch. Super excited as a Dodger fan to see that. Another big thing that happened today, WNBA, the New York Liberty. Brody, Otani about to fuck them up. Can I ask you, what leads someone to be a Steelers and a Dodgers fan? I know this is fairly common in the U.S. and the reason for each is different, but it seems weird to a sports fan from across the pond. Like we would almost exclusively be rooting for a team from our own hometown. So, kind of give you a background on what I'm a fan of. Dodgers. I live in LA. I grew up in LA. I never left LA. I've lived here all my life. And my grandfather was a big Dodger fan growing up. Sundays, he would sit in front of the TV, watch Channel 5, Dodgers, Vin Scully. And I thought it was the most boringest thing in the world. As I grew older and I got into sports, started getting into sports. I love college football. Two of my favorite players were Charles Woodson, Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart was drafted by the Steelers. Cordell Stewart was drafted by the Steelers. Charles Woodson went to the Raiders. I followed Cordell Stewart more because black quarterback, even though they made him a receiver too. And I started watching the Steelers. My dad was a Steelers fan, so I kind of picked up on that and followed them. And I know Rodney's going to make fun of me about this. We lost to New England in, I believe it was the AFC Championship game. Cordell was the quarterback, and I think this is when we knocked out Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe took over. And after that, we drafted Big Ben. And then, we went 15-1, and we won the Super Bowl the next year. And so after, pretty much like you said in the comments, Cordell Stewart to Big Ben were my quarterbacks. So obviously, we had Tommy Maddox, in between there and things like that. But the guys I resonated with were Cordell Stewart and Big Ben. And now, I've stayed a Steeler fan. I won't switch a team. So, being from LA, you obviously were a Laker fan, which I love the Lakers. Magic Johnson was my favorite player. Uh, Kobe was one of my favorite players. Shaq, Kareem, all those guys. And then, baseball. Naturally, I just was like, okay, I'm a Dodgers fan. Family was a Dodgers fan, so I became one. And then I was a Steelers fan, and then my college teams were Michigan State, and Michigan. So and then if I have to choose a hockey team, it's Philadelphia Flyers if the Kings are not winning. So yeah, that's pretty much everything is LA other than football. Um, Football is like my outside of LA team, and we didn't have a. And to be honest with you, LA didn't have a team when I was growing up. We had San Diego 49ers. What I didn't want to be a 49ers fan. We had the Chargers. I wasn't really a Chargers fan at the time. The Raiders were in Oakland, but I like Charles Woodson. But I grew up in LA, and if you wore a Raider jersey, you were a gangbanger, and I didn't want to be known as a gangbanger. So even though Bronny would tell you different, pretty handsome Vince Collier and Miracle are the greatest of all time. And oh my God, the Flyers bar. Yeah, yeah. I like the Flyer. I like Derek Lindros. That was one of my favorite players. I love Derek Lindros. Shout out to Jeremy Miller. Hey, shit, looks like your Steelers might have a quarterback. Jeremy, I agree. I think people would disagree, but a lot of people are upset that Phil didn't get. I won't say that he didn't get a chance. I think people are upset because if you look at what he did, he's 4-2, possibly should have been possibly 6-1, 5-1, or um 5-1 or 6-0. For a quarterback, he played well. And for him to get benched, people are kind of up in arms. But then, like I have been saying this whole stream, the ball's coming out of Russell Wilson's hand to George Pickens, to the receivers, to the tight ends, look just a little different to me. We'll see what happens next week, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But the offense looked different. It looked a little smoother. But going back to WNBA, New York Liberty win their first, or not their first there, but they win the WNBA championship, beating the Minnesota Lynx. Went into OT. I did not get to watch the game because I was watching the Dodgers, the Steelers. Shout out, but I'm sure Ferris will give me will give me all the info on that. But they look like they won by 5. Box scores. Brianna Streeter had 13 points. Sabrina Sabrina had 5 points, and they wonder why she made second team. Just saying. I already know. Here we go. Brock's gonna come after me. Jockwell Jones had 17. Um, yeah, it looks like just a overall team win. Collier had 22. McBride had 21. But nobody other than those two scored over 8 points. So they pretty much carried that team. Shot horribly. Minnesota gave the game. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the game. It looks like Collier and McBride carried that team because nobody else had more than 6 points. Um, that's tough. That's tough. Like at least one, if one other of their players show up, whether it be Williams, anybody, if they just show up, they probably win that game. And you're right. Stewie was 4 for 15. Good God. Sabrina was 1 of 19. 1 of 19. Are you kidding me? And 2 free throws made. She made one. Was this not in New York? It wasn't. 1 for 19. Sabrina shot 1 for 19. You lucky you ain't on the third. NBA All Team. They tried to loot one of 19. Sounds like a Pirates hitter. Bottom fifth. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, 1 for 19. That is wild. And their only make was a three pointer. 1 for 10. How many assists? 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Oh, good God. So Stewart should have had like 25 rebounds with all those misses. Wow. I wonder if someone's going to ask her. So should you be on the first All NBA team, WNBA team now? She better not mention first All WNBA team going 1 for 19. I'm sorry. That is wow. That is crazy. Vandersloot barely played. She played 3 minutes, no points. The Liberty had, 13, 17, 13, 4, 5, 13. They got production from a lot of people, but they ain't get it from Sabrina. I think Sabrina's going to be in her Jason Tatum phase. Do we play deep? I mean, I don't know. Did she play defense? Collier put 22 up on her. No, she took a lot of shots. 23 shots or 11. McBride, 7 for 13, 21 points, 1 3 out of 6, 6 for 6 from the line. So Sabrina still winner. Sabrina ass. We'll see what happens. But shout out to the Liberty. Congratulations. No, Fair. I gotta go back and look. I don't know if Ferris picked. He might have picked the Minnesota Lynx. He was perfect up until I think he took Minnesota instead of the Liberty. We'll go back and check the tape. But I think he checked Minnesota. Otherwise, Ferris actually was perfect because he picked all the right ones during the playoffs. He picked every team. He got the finals correct, everything like that. So shout out to Ferris. But what do you guys take from this week? We'll go over some NFL scores real quick, and then we'll probably get out of here. Broncos beat the Saints. Jaguars decided to finally show up, beat the Patriots. Lions beat the undefeated Vikings. Was the Vikings undefeated? Yeah, they were. Beat them 31-29. Bills beat up on the Titans. Colts beat the Dolphins. Seahawks beat the Falcons. Packers beat the Texans. That was wild. Bengals beat the Browns. Eagles destroyed the Jets. Rams beat the Raiders. That was the Cholo Bowl. The Commanders destroyed the Panthers, and the Chiefs beat the 49ers. Who do you got for tomorrow's game? Let me know in the comments. Ravens, Buccaneers, Chargers, Cardinals. If you're even going to watch that game, because I think everyone's going to be sleeping. But who do you got? Ravens, Bucks. Feel like it should have ended in game 4. Liberty screwed around too much. That's possible. They're a good team. They built their team. They really built their team to beat the Aces. That's who their competition was. You know, Ravens, Chargers, Ravens, Cardinals. Oh, Jeremy Miller going with the Cards. I think the Liberty built that team to beat the Aces. And once they got past the Aces, they laxed because I don't think Minnesota was that good. They had to go to was it 7 games? They just said 5 games. It's only a 5-game series. Got it. And they're changing that next year. We talked about it. They're changing that. It's going in the first. It's going 1-1-1. And I think the final should be a 7-game. I don't like this 5-game stuff. Like, give them an opportunity. Yeah. Okay, they are going to 7 next year. That's okay. You're fine. As long as you're not on camera, you can cuss all you want. I don't care. When you're on camera though, like Brodney and Hendo, you can't cuss. So good. Yeah, they're going to a 7-game next year. Thank God. Your heart says the Bucks. We will see what happens. We will see what happens. I Ravens defense haven't been playing good, but their offense, Derrick Henry's looked really good, and they're starting to throw the ball around. So I hate to see it as a Steelers fan, but you know, so we'll see what happens. I'm glad Brock Purdy is being brought back down to earth. I know people will blame injuries, but played like trash. Yeah, Bronny hates Brock Purdy. Bronny hates a lot of people. I don't know why he has so much hate in his heart. Shout out to Bronny for hating, you know. But all right, it's been about 45 minutes. Uh, you love seeing Lamar go for his third MVP. I like to see Lamar go for his third MVP and then lose and not make the playoffs. That's what I would love to see. Green tea is so good. Arizona green tea is amazing. Um, so I think we're going to be getting out of here very soon. Make sure, like I said before, links are in the description for Hendo, for Rodney, for myself. Follow us. We have a plethora of other people that we shout out who have other channels that if you're interested in those, you can definitely check out. There's a lot of stuff out there. As for me, you can find me here at Suge Knight 323 on um, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Big Night 1323 on Twitch, where I have been playing TCG Card Shop Simulator. It is amazing. If you know me, I'm a big nerd, and I run my own card shop, and we starting to make money in there. I'm expanding. It's funny as hell to play this game because the big comments, the big thing about nerds is they stink. And in this game, they show it. They walk into the store and there's a green aura around them. Well, you can buy spray and spray them. And it's funny because when you spray them, they start doing this and it cleans the stench. And then, because you get reviews and people review you saying, oh, it smells in there. Oh my God, it stinks. Or you'll be like, oh my God, the owner keeps it so good, smelling great in there. So it's really funny. But you got to do inventory. You open packs of cards. You put your high value cards out. People buy them. All this stuff, and you can expand your store. So I'm doing that right now. I normally play Fortnite, but I haven't been playing because I've been playing this because it's been so fun to play. So come check me out on TikTok and Twitch when I do play those things. Tuesdays, Still Conspiracy, 6 p.m. PST here. We'll be talking Steelers, Panthers, Ravens, and going over our picks. Talking any other news that we want to talk about, and you'll go talk about random stuff. Might even see us get an argument. If you were there last week, we had a big argument. Lamar should share his MVP with King Henry. No, he shouldn't. Thanks, Suge. It was great to meet you, Walker. I hope you have a great night. Shout out to you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I don't know what time it is in England, but I hope you have a good rest of your day and hope to see you back here hanging out with us. Feels real, man. Yep. Bronny's gonna buy it. It's a great game. They have other card games there in the thing that you can purchase and sell, but you have to buy the. That's what's killing me, Bronny. I know this is a sports show, but that's what's killing me in this damn game because it's like $900 to buy the license for something, and then you have to buy the product. So you have to spend $900. Then you can buy the product, but then the product's like $100 and something to sell, and then you can price it yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm opening packs. Anything over $20, I sell it at market price. Anything under $20, I take 10% off. And it seems to be working. We're making money like that. I've raised the price a little bit on the packs and everything like that, like 10%. So make like a couple dollars. I can raise it a little bit more. But like you'll see people talk, oh, this is too expensive. Oh, this is a great deal. Oh, a basic card set and it's this much. No, I'm not buying here. So, and you make money from people playing in your shop. So I'll probably be streaming that this week when I have a chance to do so. So we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful and a wonderful week. We will see you on Tuesday. Make sure to come hang out with us. I will talk to y'all later.
Image, your beats are so fire.